Hi. Oh my goodness. I'm a minute early. I feel like I've just skidded in right under the wire when I was years ago driving a forklift and wearing steel toe boots to work. I would race to the time clock without running. You weren't supposed to run, it wasn't safe. I would fast walk as fast as I could at the time clock. Was it just in time so that I wouldn't be late? And I kind of feel like I do that sometimes with Sunday Night Live. But tonight I had a little bit of breathing room, so this is kind of nice. I like it. I hope everybody's doing well. Waiting for some of you to jump on. If this is your invitation to take a moment and go grab a friend, it's 7 p.m. sharp. Let's get started. Hello, everybody. It's me, Shannon LaBruyere. I am live and loving it tonight. Welcome to Sunday Night Live, where we learn how to thrive in change. The change we like and the changes we don't like. And tonight, our hashtag, our Thrive purpose, our Thrive principle, hashtag trust the process. Hashtag trust the process. That's the Thrive principle that we're going to take a deep dive, well, not a deep dive, but a little bit of a deep dive in tonight. Trust the process. I want to welcome you. If you have never participated in Sunday Night Live before, thank you for being here. I'm honored that you would take time out of your busy schedule to allow me to help you progress on your journey to whatever your dreams and goals are. That's what change is all about. We don't always love the things that are happening to us outside of ourselves. We don't always love it. But what the idea of thriving says is that even if we don't love the change that's happening on the outside, maybe it's stressful or tough, we can still nourish our roots so that when it is time for us to blossom and grow, we are ready. We've never stopped growing, just some of our growing's happening underground. And I have a feeling that for a lot of us, a lot of our growing has been happening underground for the past few months. A lot of us have been in quarantine, or we've been sheltering in place, or just haven't quite gotten out and interacted with the world yet. Things are unsettled still. I hope and I pray that this time has been used, that you've used it to nurture your roots, to grow a little bit. And if you haven't, don't worry, it's not too late. You can start today. And we are going to thrive in change, and we are going to hashtag trust the process today. So, welcome. If you would be so kind as to drop your name and where you're from in the comments, especially if you've never been here before, we love to see who's on, who's watching, and I would love to be able to welcome you and greet you. So please put your name in there, say hi, tell us where you're from, anything that you're working on or toward that maybe you've bumped up against a little bit of resistance. We're going to talk about that today. So welcome. All right, so it would not be fair if I started Sunday Night Live without letting you know that we are sponsored by the best coffee in the world, Thumb Roast Coffee, and you can try it if you never have by going to thumbroastcoffee.com, and you get 15% off every time you purchase coffee online there. All you have to do is use the discount code THRIVE, THRIVE. That's at thumbroastcoffee.com, and you get 15% off just by using the discount code THRIVE. I hope you do that. It makes my mornings so much better, and it makes me wish that I could drink coffee, not just in the morning, but I can't do too much caffeine or I'll be up until 3 a.m., which isn't good. Anyway, let's get started. Tonight we are talking about resistance. And I'm calling this segment, Everything Worthwhile is Uphill. And that's a phrase that my mentor, John Maxwell, uses. He says, everything worthwhile is uphill. And he is right. And folks, I'm going to just be honest. I've been experiencing the uphill. So I want you to think for a minute, if you've ever gone to an amusement park, the amusement park closest to us in Michigan that has the really big coasters. The closest park to us is Cedar Point. So we would go once a year at least to Cedar Point, and we would wait in line for the roller coasters. How many of you love roller coasters? Hands up. Yes. Do you love them? I used to love them a lot, but I was always a little bit nervous about them. And I am picturing being on the Millennium Force, which at the time was the tallest roller coaster in the United States or something crazy. And all I can remember, or not all, but the main thing I remember is getting in that car on that roller coaster and the uphill journey that we had to take in order for us to get to the top of that hill. Once we were at the top of that hill, what happens on a roller coaster, right? Whoosh, momentum starts to take over. Yes, all of that energy that got stored up while we were climbing that hill got released when it was time to go down. And we didn't just go straight down to the bottom, right? Picture a roller coaster. You go up and around, and it's an exhilarating ride. Life is like that. Life is like that. And I want us to get a little bit comfortable with this idea of the resistance, because we can fool ourselves into thinking that if there's resistance, it must mean I'm not supposed to do it. Carol says, oh, we have to share this right here. Carol says, I have never lost my fear to get on a roller coaster. Well, Carol, the good news is you don't have to ride a roller coaster to be successful. So thank goodness for that. That is totally optional. But I will say this, if we want to be successful in life, we are going to have to get used to the resistance. We are going to have to get used to that push that comes to us every time we want to make positive change. And that's a key phrase right there, that positive change, the change that takes us outside of that. I called it a couple of weeks ago, that prison cell that we've decorated so nicely. It's just so cushy. And sometimes we get a little antsy and we think, you know what, I'm just gonna move this pillow over in this corner, and oh, this looks so nice, right? We get really cushy, but we're actually in a prison. We never leave. We aren't exercising our freedom. But what happens when we start to exercise our freedom? Resistance. So for those of you who took that lesson about redecorating our prison cell, those of you who took that lesson to heart and decided to exercise your freedom, I'm thinking right about now, you're feeling the resistance of your choice. Because when we decide to do something new, to move forward in our lives, to pursue our dreams and our purpose, we will 100% of the time meet with resistance. This is the first thing I want you to remember. When we seek to change, we need to expect resistance. Just expect it. It is going to happen. And the reasons why it happens are all rooted inside of us. I like to tell the story of how when tax season rolls around and it's time for me to gather together my tax documents, for many years, that was the cleanest my house ever was. My closets were well organized. I had dusted all of the furniture. And as that deadline drew closer and closer, I got more and more intense. I would clean my car. How many of you are hearing me? Have you been there? I'd clean my car. I'd vacuum it. I'd wash all the mats. I'd wipe the windows down. Yeah, I'd go and polish all the chrome on all the faucets in the house. Amazing what the resistance to doing something that was going to require me to stretch. I didn't love doing it, hadn't gotten good at doing it. And the resistance to making a change that was going to help me, just jumping in and taking care of my paperwork. Amazing, the resistance that I threw up in my own path. We are the ones who are responsible for our resistance. That's the second thing I want you to know. We are the ones who are responsible for the resistance. It comes from within us. It does not come from without. A lot of times the resistance that's kicking up inside of us is saying, oh, I couldn't do it because of a pandemic. I mean, and who doesn't believe that? I mean, that's a pretty decent excuse when you think about it. The entire world affected by a pandemic. If you're looking for an excuse to not make a change, I think a pandemic should be a good one. Except for it turns out that a pandemic isn't the reason why we're not doing what we're doing. It's just not. It's the thing we decide to blame. But the reason we're not making the change is because the resistance within us is saying, don't do that. Are you nuts? Are you crazy? You could never do that. What would people think? Right? That's coming from within us. Who does something like that in a pandemic? Says someone. And we allow that to keep us from taking action. We allow it to keep us from taking action. So I'm just going to be real with you. At the beginning of the year, I made a vision board. We talked a little bit about it. For those of you who haven't heard it, you can go back in the podcast archives and you can take a listen to it. It talks about our dreams, our vision, 2020, getting a fresh start, all that good stuff. If that sounds good to you, go back in the archives. You'll find it if you search for vision. Anyway, I had a vision board, and on my vision board, I said that I was going to create my dream. My vision was to create a live stream leadership program. And my live stream leadership program is a dream that I have to have an online virtual community that we have mastermind groups, and I do teaching and training, and we have interaction with each other that helps each of us grow, right? So it sounds awesome. And it's all done virtually so that anybody can be anywhere in the entire world. And if they want to be a confident, effective, inspired leader, they can participate in Livestream Leadership. That was my vision. And I had a small core of it started. I had the mastermind piece that started. So at the beginning of the year, 2020, my vision board says, that's what I want to do. And I'm just going to be honest, I didn't do a whole lot with it. And then, of course, the pandemic hit. And so I'm not going to lie. I was reeling a little bit from a pandemic, and that's okay. It was unexpected. It was certainly not pleasant. It was totally, it turned everything upside down for just about everybody I know. The things that we planned to do, we couldn't do. And so my business that existed primarily by serving people in person, either meeting them and coaching them face to face, or doing training for their leaders and their leadership teams, helping them to grow, that piece of my business totally went away. And so I'm looking at pretty much a blank calendar. And I did not do anything with my Livestream Leadership program. I found other things to do. I was too busy to do that. I actually signed up for a course that is teaching me how to do that and do it well, which has been amazing, except for that I had it for 6 weeks and had only participated in one training session. 6 weeks, one training session? And I was blaming the pandemic? Let's think about that. I was at home more than I was ever at home. I was pretty much exclusively limited to interacting with people online in a virtual environment. My day-to-day calendar fillers had all been eliminated. I wasn't doing those trainings. I didn't have to prepare for those events because they weren't happening. I didn't have to go speak anywhere because they'd canceled them all. People, I had nothing but time and opportunity on my hand. And for 6 weeks, I made excuses for why I couldn't pursue my dream to have an awesome Livestream Leadership program. It was the resistance. It was the resistance. And so this is the third thing that I want you to know about resistance. Number one is when we seek to make a positive change, we need to expect resistance. It will happen. Number two is that resistance comes from within us. It does not come from without us. We blame our circumstances. We say we're too busy. We say that I've just got too much on my plate. But all of that is just resistance. It's us cleaning out our closet so that we don't have to go and take that online exam. We've all done it. I know you've done it. I can see you nodding your heads. Yes, you are rolling your eyes. I know I've done that. I know. But just understand that that never goes away. So when you see that resistance pop up, it is not because you're terrible or you're a bad person or you haven't grown enough or you don't want it enough or your dream isn't valid. No, when we feel that resistance, all that means is you're human, because every human experiences it and it never goes away. Every time we get ready to step out of our familiar comfort zone, my pastor likes to say, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Whenever we get ready to step out of our comfort zone, we need to expect resistance. It happens to all of us. It never goes away. Many times that resistance shows itself as fear. We're afraid. We're afraid to do it. We're afraid to fail. We're afraid of what people will think. We're afraid we'll find out that we're a fraud, right? These are some of the things I told myself as I was putting off even starting to do my live stream leadership program. I put it off. I put off even starting it because I was afraid I didn't know how to do it. Guess what? I didn't know how to do it, but I could learn how to do it. So this is the third thing I want you to remember. When we seek to change, we always are going to have resistance, number one. Number two is resistance comes from within us, not without. And number three is this: you need help getting past resistance. You need help. Who is helping you look that resistance in the face and say, thank you, but not today. I've got things I need to do. I've got a dream I need to pursue. I've got a job application to fill out. I've got some training I need to take online. Excuse me, resistance, but I'm going to step right past you and continue on my journey toward my purpose and my calling, my dream. Who is going to help you do that? I'm going to tell you who helps me. If it would not have been for one of my friends and fellow coaches, Wynn Gobbold, she has a great online community called the I'm Possible community. And I am a member of that community, and we support each other, and Wynn challenges us. And she put out a 30-day challenge. Coach Wynn said, you guys are not going to sit around in the middle of a pandemic on my watch. And Coach Wynn said, let's do something every day for 30 days. Who's in? Who wants to commit to this challenge? And so I took the challenge, the I'm Possible challenge. And I said that every day I was going to do a section of my training that was going to equip me to have a great leadership program, a leadership membership program. I was going to do a piece of that training every day, and I was also going to do something to make that more real, to put it into existence, not just keep it up here, but I was going to make a game plan, and I was going to follow the game plan for 30 days. And so for 30 days, because there was somebody in my circle of influence, the people who, my inner circle is a better term, my inner circle, somebody who's I've allowed to speak into my life because she's wise and she can help motivate me and she's encouraging. Somebody like that spoke into my life and said, here's your challenge, not just to me, but all the people in her community. And I took her up on it. And so every day I did a piece of that training. Every day I got a step closer. Every day I made progress, and it was exhilarating. And there wasn't as much resistance when I knew I had somebody in it with me. Who's listening? Who's with you? Not the naysayers, not the naysayers who feed the resistance, not the people that you say, you know what, if I asked her, she'd say it was a ridiculous idea and she'd talk me out of it. She'd talk sense into me. Not that person. Not that person. I'm talking about the person who says, you can do this. You can do this. What's the next step you need to take? I had somebody who cared enough in the middle of a pandemic to say, we are going to take action. And we're not just going to take little action, we're going to take consistent action. And so I did that for 30 days. I want to tell you, I made so much progress. I launched it. I had a founding members launch. Many of you have seen that. It's posted on the Thrive and Change page. If you want to take a look at it, if you are interested, go read my little story. I'm not sure what it all looks like, but my Livestream leadership program is happening thanks to a coach who held me accountable, helped me to make good on the promises I made to myself that I would do something amazing. And that encouragement, that coaching helped me to bust through that resistance so that I could actually do what I knew I wanted to do. So fast forward, it's been like 30, 40 days now since then. I've continued to build on that program. And then this week, as I was learning some new skills that went along with it, I'm going to allow people to sign up and subscribe. And I've never had a subscription program before. That's something brand new to Shannon. So I had just gotten comfortable with all of the inner workings and the planning part of launching this program. And then it came time to actually create the button that people push that says, I want to join. And that would take them somewhere where they would get lots of information and they would be able to join in a subscription and they would be able to see a video. And I had this beautiful vision in my head and I created it all. And then when it was time to hit the button, resistance hit. Resistance hit, you guys. I was this close to getting ready to hit that button and share that with the people who said, yes, I want to be a confident leader. I was ready to go. I was right there. I had nobody to blame. I had nothing to blame it on. And Shannon, the coach in her head, looked at what was happening in my life and went, oh yeah, that's resistance. And do you think for the life of me, I could push past it? I could not. And so, like I'm asking you, step 3, who's helping you? Who are you turning to when the resistance kicks up? So I have another coaching friend who I work with one-on-one. We exchange services. You've met her. Her name is Michelle. And so Michelle, I checked in on her, made sure she was doing good. And when she bopped back and said, so how are you doing? I had a choice to make. And the resistance was screaming so loudly in my ear. You know what I'm talking about. The resistance was screaming so loudly in my ear, telling me, Shannon, don't tell her what's going on. Don't be ridiculous. You'll figure this out. You'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. You'll get past it. You just need to sleep on it another night. Folks, I've been sleeping on it for several nights. It wasn't getting better. That voice, it wasn't telling me, you'll never do it. Don't try. Don't bother. It didn't say any of that stuff. Oh no, my resistance is super clever. My resistance says, just don't do it today. Just don't ask for help now. Just wait till you really, really got yourself in trouble and then get some help. And I didn't listen to the voice. And I want to tell you, you don't have to listen to the voice either. I asked for help. I said, I'm stuck. I'm stuck and I'm resisting. I feel the resistance to taking the next step. I'm stuck. And my great coaching friend, Michelle, texted me back, don't believe your brain, it's lying. You guys, that's the best advice I've gotten in a long time. Don't believe your brain, it's lying. That resistance, it's coming from here. It's coming from within. You don't have to believe that. You don't have to believe that. But you're going to need somebody who says, don't buy into that lie. You'll be just fine. Hit that button, send it out, take the next step. It'll be okay. You know you're doing it for a good reason. We need that. You need that. I need that. We cannot believe the resistance when it tells us you don't need help. You don't need to tell anybody what's going on. You don't need to admit that you're stuck. That's a lie. That's our, what do they call it? Our lizard brain saying, maintain the status quo, because at least you'll know what to deal with. It's the unknown that you have to worry about, our lizard brain says. But the fact is, we can deal with the unknown, but we're not going to be able to push that resistance without help. And before you just start hating the resistance, before you start hating, before you stop hating the resistance, I want you to think about that roller coaster. I want you to think about what my mentor, John Maxwell, said. Everything worthwhile is uphill. If you're not experiencing resistance in your life, if you don't have that nervous feeling, if you don't have that weird desire to go clean all your closets so that you don't go out and enroll in college, whatever that is, if you don't feel that, it means that you're not going uphill, my friends. If you're not feeling resistance, you're not growing. Picture a plant. Picture a plant coming through the ground, right? It's pushing through. There's resistance, but it does it. That's my imitation of a plant. I don't know if that worked or not, but you get the idea. It's pushing through. It's displacing things. There is resistance. When we grow and change, we displace the status quo. The status quo is resistant. We displace it because we're growing, we're stretching, we're not staying put, we're not staying hidden, right? We're displacing things. And we need people in our lives, coaches, mentors, friends in our inner circle that feed our growth and don't hold us back. We need those kind of people to encourage us when we get stuck in our own fear and our own resistance. This is the beautiful thing about resistance. When we are experiencing resistance, we are getting stronger, right? Have you ever done weightlifting? My husband was a weightlifter for many years and still does weightlift, but for a really long time, he was very, very devoted to it. And we talked about it a lot in some of the principles and how resistance affects your muscles and what causes you to get strong and what causes you to be weak. And if if it's too much resistance, you're going to hurt yourself. But if it's the right amount of resistance, all kinds of great stuff about resistance. But the bottom line is, the effect of resistance in our lives as we grow is that we get stronger. And when we get stronger, our influence, our ability to lead ourselves grows. Our ability to lead others grows. You hear what I'm saying? That resistance is doing you a favor, my friend. It's doing you a favor. Just like that roller coaster, that resistance, the gravity that you're pushing up against as you're going uphill, it's also making you stronger. And it's also storing up energy so that when you get to the top of that hill and you've got there, that's where my dream is, or at least step one of my dream. It's at the top of that hill. You get to that top of that hill, my friend, step one, done. Whew. And then you're going to experience the momentum of that resistance. And then, just like on a roller coaster, you get to that point where you don't have a whole lot of energy to make a whole lot more loop-de-loops, right? And so you begin that climb again. The overall trajectory of a successful person is uphill. It's not a steep incline that you just are constantly uphill and never get a break, right? But your overall trek is uphill. The resistance isn't all bad, but you have to know that whenever you want to change, it's going to show up. You have to know that it's easy to blame our circumstances, but that resistance always comes from within us. Can't blame it on our husband, can't blame it on our kids. It's us. And then the third thing is we need help. We need partners. We need mentors. We need coaches. We need people in our lives, just like I had my coach friend, Wynn, and my coaching friend, Michelle. Both of them are so valuable in my life as they speak truth and help me to see myself for what I really am when I'm chickening out, that kind of thing. Who do you have in your life that does that for you? Because you need that to be able to break through the resistance. Thank you. Thank you so much for allowing me to be real. In case what I do looks easy to you, I want you to know that it's not easy, but it's very worthwhile, and it's worth overcoming the resistance so that I can grow and have greater impact. And I'm not the only person. You're the same way. And you've got a change that you want to make, that you can do. Just don't listen to the resistance. It's always there. It never goes away. Backs off for a little while till it thinks you're getting ready to make another big change. Oh my gosh. And then it'll pop out of the woodwork. You're going to need people standing next to you to say, you can do this. It's a stretch, but you can do it. I love it. I love that I can share with you what I'm going through so that you can go on my journey with me. I hope that this has helped you. We can #trust the process. The resistance is not our sign that we're supposed to give up. It is our sign that we're doing the right thing and we're getting stronger and we're getting better skills and we're creating stored energy so that we'll be able to continue on. Oh, let me see. Missy said, I needed to hear this so much. Oh, and she's got a little icon of a roller coaster there. I love it. I love it, Missy. And I'm glad that this has inspired you. We're all in the same boat. We are all on our own journey. I shouldn't say we're all in the same boat, but we all are in this. We share humanity. This is the journey that humans take when we want to grow and change. I'm just glad that I can share the journey with you. I would love for you, this is your action item. If you know there's something you need to do that you've been experiencing resistance, I want you to put down that thing in the comments. Be accountable. Get it out there. Don't believe the resistance that says, don't tell them that. Nobody cares about that. That's a lie. As Coach Michelle Burkhardt says, don't believe your brain, it's lying to you. Don't believe your brain, it's lying to you. Words to live by, I think. But I encourage you to drop that in the comments. What is the thing that you know you need to do next? Not the big thing, not I need to go to law school and get my law degree and graduate in 2035. What's the next thing? The next thing that you need to do that you've been telling yourself, I'll just do that tomorrow. I'll just do that tomorrow. You know, I don't like to do anything on a Monday, so I think I'll do that on a Tuesday. Well, Tuesday comes and you know what? I have a dentist appointment and that takes a lot out of me. So you know what? I think I'll do it on Wednesday. Well, I can't do it, right? It's the resistance. It's the resistance. Push through it. It's going to give you the energy you need to be able to blast through the obstacles, because that plodding through that resistance gives us strength and stored energy so that when our momentum kicks in, we can blast through obstacles that would take us way longer to get through if we were just trying to walk through them. All right. You guys are awesome. Mwah. I love you. I look forward to seeing your posts. So make sure you put it in there. God bless you all. Take care and good night.